Marcus Aurelius was a great Stoic philosopher and also a very important emperor in his time. He was known for his ability to deal with his emotions and think clearly. To understand how he became so good at thinking logically, it is important to know the challenges he faced to gain so much wisdom. As emperor, Marcus Aurelius had almost everything he wanted, but instead of just using it for his own desires, he dedicated his life to pursuing virtue, trying to be fair and impartial. Looking at how he became so good at thinking logically, we see that his journey was not just about achieving personal excellence, but also about leaving a selfish lifestyle in favor of something greater. His commitment to noble values, even with the privileges and challenges of his position, shows the profound impact of his Stoic philosophy and its lasting influence. During his reign, Marcus Aurelius wrote a book called Meditations, which became an important part of Stoic philosophy. These writings were not just abstract thoughts, but practical advice on how to live a life of meaning and virtue. It's as if we are looking through a window into the mind of one of the most powerful leaders in history, seeing him having a sincere conversation with himself. In Meditations, Marco Aurelio reminds us of the importance of being disciplined and knowing yourself. He encourages us to examine our actions and thoughts, always seeking to improve and cultivate qualities such as courage, wisdom, and compassion. It's as if we are being invited to an internal journey of self-improvement, guided by the wise words of a leader who seeks well-being for everyone, not just himself. These writings not only offer timeless advice, but also inspire us to think about our own conduct and values. Marco Aurelio reminds us of the importance of living with purpose and meaning, focusing on what we can control and calmly accepting what we cannot. It's as if we were receiving a map for life, drawn with the experience and wisdom of one of the greatest leaders in history. When reading Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, we are invited to build our own destiny, creating solid foundations of virtue and goodness in our lives. It's as if we are receiving a letter from a wise friend, guiding us through life's ups and downs with wisdom and understanding. These writings are not just a reliquary of antiquity, but a valuable guide for all who seek a life of meaning and authenticity. Facing the challenges of governing a large empire, often involved in conflicts and wars, Marcus Aurelius was not only a military leader, but also a firm practitioner of Stoic philosophy. Amid the stress and worries of his position, he used Stoic principles to guide his actions and maintain a balanced stance. Committed to being the best leader he could be, Aurelio applied Stoic teachings daily in his life, transforming this philosophy into an inspiring practice of thought and action. Thus, Marcus Aurelius's Meditations not only recorded his personal thoughts, but also became an eternal guide to understanding Stoic philosophy in practice, showing that this approach was not just a theory, but an applicable and transformative philosophy of life. The Stoics believed that acting correctly, even in difficult times, was the key to finding lasting happiness. They felt it was important to develop good judgment and the ability to think logically in order to act in accordance with ethical principles. In the case of Marco Aurelio, who governed in a time of military and political challenges, following these principles was directly linked to his ability to make fair and balanced decisions. When we see how Marcus Aurelius used Stoic teachings in his leadership, we see not just an emperor, but someone deeply committed to understanding what was right and ethical in a world full of challenges and dilemmas. It is as if we are opening a window into the mind of a leader who tried to be an example of integrity and virtue in all his actions. His decisions were guided by a constant search for truth and justice, core values of Stoic philosophy that highlight the importance of maintaining integrity, even in difficult times. It is as if we are observing a light shining in the darkness, guiding others with his exemplary conduct and firm adherence to the principles he considered sacred. Practicing these principles not only set you apart as a leader, but also inspired those around you. It's as if we're seeing a domino effect of virtue, as those around you are influenced to adopt a more ethical approach to life's challenges. His actions went beyond the limits of the palace, reaching the hearts and minds of everyone who looked for an example to follow. By studying Marco Aurelio's leadership, we are reminded of the importance of maintaining our values even in difficult times. It's as if we are receiving a timeless lesson about the power of integrity and the transformative impact that ethical conduct can have on our world. In times of uncertainty and turmoil, Marcus Aurelius's lessons serve as a powerful reminder that true greatness lies in nobility of character and rectitude of spirit. First lesson: learn how to control your emotions. Marcus Aurelius advises us not to let our feelings take over our ideas. We must avoid being false, selfish, and not allowing ourselves to be easily angered. Following our feelings is very different from acting with reason, and there is a good reason for that. Our emotions can get in the way of our thinking. Therefore, if we want to think clearly, it is important to learn to control our emotions. According to Marcus Aurelius, anger does more harm than good. Controlling our emotions does not mean hiding them or pretending they don't exist. For example, if someone hurts us and we feel very angry, simply ignoring or disguising that anger will not make it go away. She will still be there. Instead, controlling emotions like anger means directing those feelings in a different way. So the next time you feel angry, ask yourself what you can do with that feeling. Yelling at those who hurt you may seem like a solution, but will it really help to improve the situation? Will you help the person who hurt you grow? In short, reflect on your reactions and see if they are constructive. Many people transform emotions like anger, fear, or despair into something more productive, like working out at the gym. However, it's important to remember that expressing emotions can be different for everyone, and what works for one person may not work for another. If turning anger into productive energy isn't enough, look for helpful ways to express your emotions. Perhaps talking calmly to the person who hurt you, explaining your feelings and trying to understand their point of view might bring better results. Open, empathetic communication can be a powerful tool for resolving conflict and building healthy relationships. So try different ways of dealing with your emotions and choose the one that best suits your personality and the situation. In addition to practicing mindfulness and emotional intelligence, there are several other ways to deal with negative emotions such as anger, anxiety, or fear. One option is to express your feelings by writing in a journal, where you can vent and reflect on what you are feeling. Writing can help you process emotions and find clarity amid the chaos. Another alternative is to engage in activities that offer distraction and relaxation, such as playing video games, practicing a hobby, or going for a walk outdoors. These activities can help calm the mind and dispel accumulated negative energy. When it comes to anxiety or fear, it is important to recognize that these emotions cannot be ignored, but can be addressed in a constructive way. Instead of letting anxiety paralyze you, use it as motivation to face challenges and overcome your personal limits. By gradually exposing yourself to situations that cause anxiety, you can learn to deal with it more effectively and lessen its impact on your daily life. The most important thing is to find strategies that work for you and can be sustainable in the long term. Try different techniques and activities until you find the ones that best suit your needs and lifestyle. Remember that it's normal to feel a variety of emotions, and finding healthy ways to deal with them is an important step toward emotional well-being. For example, if you are too afraid to ask your boss for a raise, many people may see this fear as a reason to avoid taking action, letting anxiety control their actions. Others may try to ignore the fear and move on. However, this is not necessary. Instead, see fear as something that can be used in healthy and even helpful ways. Fear can show you that you want to make more money. This fear arises from worry about how your boss will react to your request. It makes you think about things that could go wrong. Reflect on the boss's questions and the arguments that might arise. This way, you can prepare for these situations and create a plan for each one. But, most importantly, fear can serve as a positive motivation to move forward, challenge yourself, and grow as a person. He encourages you to prove that you are capable, to take the step not in spite of the fear, but in part because of it. Even though fear may initially stop you from asking for the raise, remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. The obstacle is the way. Second lesson, practicing the dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius used to say something very important. You can control your mind, but you can't control what happens around you. Knowing this makes you stronger. This idea of the dichotomy of control teaches us to separate what we can and cannot control. Things like the weather, traffic, or what others think of you are out of your control. However, decisions such as what you wear, when you go out, and who you socialize with are your responsibility. So when something makes you feel a certain way, ask yourself, can I control this? If the answer is yes, think about what you can do. If the answer is no, it is important to accept it and move on without getting upset. Understanding this difference and acting accordingly can help calm your mind immediately. An important part of this is the concept of love of fate. By accepting life and everything that happens, you will find happiness. We cannot avoid what happens in the future or choose circumstances beyond our control, like fate. However, we can choose to love our life no matter what. For example, if you don't get the job you really wanted, it may seem like there's nothing good about it. After all, you tried hard and gave your best, but you weren't chosen. In these situations, it can be difficult to find something positive, but this is a mistake. Instead of seeing not getting what you want as a bad thing, look at it neutrally and ask yourself, why didn't it work? This will help you find ways to improve and have a positive attitude about the situation. If the reason you didn't get the job was something you did, that's in your control. You can work to fix these things and try again in the future. This means you will have learned something new and may even get a better job. If the reason you weren't selected was something out of your control, like the business owner hiring a relative, there's no reason to worry. It was never in your control, so the opportunity was never really yours, and there's no point in getting upset about something you can't change. Accepting destiny means not getting attached to specific results or external signs of success. In this case, it is not a defeat, as victory was impossible due to factors that were out of your hands. Imagine for a moment that your big dream is to become a picture painter. When evaluating the success of this journey, you can choose different ways to measure it. If you consider that being successful means having many paintings sold or being famous in the art world, you are leaving your success in the hands of things you cannot control, such as market trends. But if you decide to measure how much you're progressing based on the joy you feel when painting, the effort you put into learning, and the passion you put into each work, you'll be taking control of your own success. By focusing on the creative process, you are channeling your energy into what you can directly control. It's like adjusting the focus of a camera, focusing on the puzzle pieces that you can actually move and shape. This means releasing worry about what is beyond your hands and focusing on doing the best you can in your artistic endeavors. It's like cultivating a garden, taking care of the seeds you planted with dedication and patience, letting growth happen at its own time and pace. It is important to recognize that even with all the effort we put in, there may be times when we do not achieve all of our goals. Accepting this reality from the beginning is a way to strengthen our resilience. It's like building a solid foundation, preparing to face the challenges that come along the way with a balanced and calm attitude. Building the road to success. The journey of creation. When we dedicate ourselves to creation and study, we are actually building a road to success. Imagine that each effort, each hour of practice, and each challenge faced are stones that we carefully place along this road. Each stone represents a small victory and a stage reached in our artistic journey. As we move forward, these stones come together to form a solid, reliable road that takes us closer and closer to our goals. Joy in the growth process. Find joy in the process of building that road. It's like a gardener who plants seeds and takes care of the soil, knowing that the growth of flowers and trees doesn't happen overnight. Likewise, by dedicating yourself to your work and continuing to learn, you are cultivating the seeds of your success. Satisfaction comes from seeing each step taken and each improvement made, and not just the final result. This enjoyment along the way is what nourishes your creativity and provides a lasting sense of personal fulfillment. The value of continued effort. Imagine that each day spent studying and practicing is like adding a layer of cement to your road. Each layer may seem small and sometimes even invisible, but together they form a solid foundation for your success. Continuous effort, even when it is not immediately rewarded, strengthens your journey and makes your path firmer and safer. True fulfillment comes from recognizing and valuing each small step, each challenge overcome, and each learning gained along the way. Satisfaction in artistic development. As you progress on your artistic journey, remember that development is just as important as the final destination. Find pleasure and satisfaction in small daily victories and continued growth. Each technique mastered, each idea explored, and each error corrected contributes to his evolution as an artist. Value this construction process, as it is what enriches your experience and makes the journey as significant as success itself. As we apply this broader thinking to our lives, we realize that by focusing only on the variables we can control and accepting uncertainty about outcomes in advance, we gain a sense of calm and satisfaction regardless of external circumstances. This mindset allows us to live with more serenity and contentment, regardless of the challenges we may face. Third lesson, define your goals. The journey of life and Stoic wisdom life is an exciting journey, full of challenges, opportunities, and constant changes. Imagine life as a great river, always flowing and changing. Amid this current, Stoic wisdom acts as a compass, guiding our thoughts and actions. When we decide what we want to achieve, Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus not only on external circumstances, but also on how we can improve ourselves internally. Instead of getting lost in the distractions of the world, she encourages us to become the best version of ourselves, no matter the storms we encounter along the way. Focus on personal control. The first step to defining our goals, according to Stoic philosophy, is to distinguish between what we can and cannot control. Think of our mind and our actions as the rudder of a boat, which we can steer, while the wind and waves represent factors outside of our control. Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, great Stoic masters, remind us that the only real dominion we have is over our own mind and will. Therefore, when setting our goals, it is essential that we focus our efforts on areas where we can really make a difference, such as our attitudes, decisions, and the values we choose to cultivate. Pursue moral excellence. The Stoics inspire us to seek moral excellence in our lives rather than fixating on ephemeral pleasures or the approval of others. Imagine virtue as a solid anchor that holds our boat steady amid the turbulent waves. Rather than seeking fleeting rewards, Stoic philosophy guides us to seek lasting qualities such as wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. These virtues help us face both the good and bad moments in life with balance and integrity, offering a constant path to true happiness. The importance of mindfulness. The practice of mindfulness, or prososh, is an essential component when setting our Stoic goals. View mindfulness as a lens that helps us see the present clearly, without the distortions of distractions and momentary desires. By being fully aware of what is happening now, we can make decisions that align with our true values and goals. This helps us avoid traps and distractions that can divert our path and keep us focused on what really matters. The virtue of patience. Patience is like a solid foundation for a building. When we are in pursuit of our goals, the path can be long and full of obstacles. Stoic teachings remind us that patience is not just waiting passively, but staying determined and continuing to move forward, even in the face of difficulties. Patience is the strength that allows us to persevere, overcome challenges, and continue building our dreams with resilience. Learning from mistakes. Reflecting on our mistakes and learning from them is an essential practice for personal growth, as emphasized by Marco Aurelio in his Meditations. Imagine that each mistake is a stumbling block that, when carefully studied, reveals valuable lessons. Instead of becoming discouraged by failures, we should see them as opportunities to become stronger and wiser. Every stumble is a chance to learn and move forward with greater understanding and skill. Weave Your Tapestry of Life. Stoic philosophy offers a wise guide for setting our goals. By focusing on what we can control, pursuing virtue, accepting uncertainty calmly, avoiding distractions, practicing mindfulness, cultivating patience, and learning from our mistakes, we transform our goals into expressions of moral excellence. It is as if we are weaving a rich and complex tapestry, where every choice and decision is interwoven with wisdom and virtue. Instead of losing ourselves in the endless pursuit of external success, we choose to navigate with purpose and authenticity, transforming our goals into tangible manifestations of our inner journey toward personal fulfillment. Fourth lesson: do fewer things. Simplifying life is very important to live calmly and clearly, but that doesn't mean we should be lazy. The Stoics valued hard work, that is, being productive, but they also highlighted the importance of not overdoing it. It may seem complicated. How can we simplify our lives without losing focus? Marcus Aurelius realized that we often get involved in things that are not really essential. These days we have so many entertainment options and distractions, and it's easy to get distracted from the most important tasks. When he talks about simplification, he's also talking about using fewer words. Often our conversations are empty and lead us nowhere, wasting our time and energy meaninglessly. Therefore, simplifying means focusing on what is really essential. It's not just eliminating what's not necessary, but also working smarter and more efficiently. A big advantage of this method is that by simplifying our lives, we can do fewer things but do them better. Looking for simplicity requires a conscious effort. As Marcus Aurelius said, if you can eliminate something, you will have more time and peace of mind. Ask yourself all the time, is this really necessary? Additionally, it is important to question unnecessary assumptions to eliminate actions that often accompany them. By asking these questions, we free up more space in our minds to think clearly and rationally. A useful practice to stay focused on our daily activities is to make a to-do list the night before. This helps us plan in advance what we need to do when we wake up, which calms the mind. Planning our days in advance eliminates one worry from our mind and allows us to face our tasks with more clarity and determination. Simplifying life does not mean reducing our activities to a minimum, but rather identifying what really matters and focusing our efforts on that. It's like packing a suitcase for a trip. We carefully choose what to take to ensure we have what we need without carrying too much. When we simplify, we are not necessarily reducing the amount of things we do, but rather wisely selecting where we invest our time and energy. This helps us eliminate distractions that take us away from our goals and prevent us from reaching our full potential. By stopping trying to multitask, we can give our full attention to each task, resulting in better quality work and personal satisfaction. Finding this balance between effort and simplification helps us to be more efficient and make the most of every moment of life. Instead of feeling overwhelmed and stressed, we find peace and fulfillment by living in a focused and deliberate way. Simplifying doesn't mean abandoning the things we value, but prioritizing what really matters and leaving the rest aside. It is a process of detachment that frees us from excess and allows us to live with more authenticity and meaning. Simplification is not laziness, but rather a search for efficiency and purpose. By removing unnecessary elements, we create space for what really matters, promoting a balanced and satisfying lifestyle. This approach not only aims to eliminate unnecessary complexities, but also to create an environment where meaningful activities can flourish. Thus, simplicity proves to be a valuable tool for improving everyday life, cultivating happiness and achieving deeper personal fulfillment. Fifth lesson: embrace the virtues. Marcus Aurelius used to teach that it is very important to look deep within ourselves, because there we can find a source of goodness that is ready to show itself if we keep searching. Being virtuous means doing the right things, acting fairly and correctly. This type of behavior not only benefits you and the people around you, but also helps improve society. The Stoics believed that everyone and everything is connected, so doing good for everyone also benefits ourselves. They said that the most rational people are more dedicated to the good of everyone. They think carefully before acting, seeking what is good for everyone. On the other hand, those who do not act correctly may not know what is right. In life's complicated situations and full of surprises, virtues are like stars that illuminate the right path and help you stay calm. Therefore, people who have many virtues generally have a calm and balanced attitude. Following virtuous qualities, according to Stoic philosophy, requires a good understanding of the four main virtues: wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Let's start with the virtue of wisdom. For the Stoics, being wise is not just having knowledge. Stoic wisdom is the ability to distinguish between good, evil, and neutral, and also understand the nuances between them. It is a constant search to overcome the influences of emotions, allowing reason to guide our decisions and actions. When faced with a dilemma, Stoic wisdom helps us analyze the options clearly and fairly, ensuring that our choices are aligned with ethical and rational principles. Bravery, which is also a very important quality for Stoics, is not just about not feeling fear. According to the Stoics, being courageous means being able to do the right thing no matter what situations or emotions are present. This involves facing challenges and difficulties with courage and determination, maintaining our integrity and acting correctly, even when things are difficult. Stoic courage is not just about being physically fearless, but also about having the moral strength to act correctly, even when we are unsure or face opposition. These qualities are fundamental to Stoicism, guiding us in the pursuit of an ethical and meaningful life. Having courage is not just about eliminating fear, desire, or anxiety. It's deciding to move forward, consciously overcoming emotional barriers. In other words, it's taking action even when we're afraid, like asking the boss for a raise. This motivates us to seek something greater, even without knowing the result. On the other hand, cowardice would be avoiding doing what we should, even if we wanted to. Then comes justice. The basis of justice is wisdom, which involves a commitment to what is right and impartial, both for ourselves and for others. The Stoics saw this as a duty to ourselves, to other human beings, and to society as a whole. The idea of justice for the Stoics influenced future political and social discussions. As John Locke expressed, "I may not agree with a word you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it." Finally, temperance, also known as moderation, means maintaining a balance between extremes. It involves practicing self-control, being moderate and disciplined. Marcus Aurelius highlighted humans' unique ability to self-regulate, which sets us apart from animals. Temperance prioritizes long-term well-being over immediate satisfaction. For example, think of a plate of food. Filling your plate until you can no longer eat may bring momentary pleasure, but it harms your health shortly afterwards, with difficulty in digestion. Practicing temperance would mean moderating the amount of food on your plate. Wisdom is important to determine the right amount before stopping eating. Stoicism offers a useful way of classifying things and actions, labeling them as good, bad, or indifferent. This philosophy suggests basic principles, such as seeking what is good, avoiding what is bad, and calmly accepting what is indifferent, depending on personal preferences. These are not just abstract concepts, but practical guidelines for our daily choices. Following these virtues is not just a personal matter, it is a way to promote a positive and collaborative society. Acting in disagreement with these principles would be opting for harmful things such as theft, disrespect, or recklessness, and moving away from what is beneficial. In contrast, activities considered indifferent, such as a leisurely walk, do not involve the transgression of these virtues. These Stoic principles are not only tools for our personal improvement, but they also shape our interaction with society in positive ways. By following these virtues as guides for our actions, we establish a safe path, illuminated by reason, which in turn leads us to the construction of a serene and peaceful mind. This link between our individual choices and collective well-being highlights the practical importance of these philosophical principles. Imagine each Stoic virtue as a solid stone in the construction of a bridge. Each action aligned with these principles is like adding another solid stone, strengthening the structure that connects us to the community. This bridge is not only a path to our own growth, but also a path to collective progress. As we strive to act with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control, we build a solid foundation for a more harmonious and compassionate society. It is as if we are watering the seeds of virtue in our inner garden, cultivating not only our own well-being, but also creating an environment conducive to the flourishing of everyone around us. So every act of kindness, Every moment of patience and every instance of self-control not only uplifts us, but also uplifts the community as a whole. In this context, it's possible to recognize anxiety throughout the process and think, "It's amazing that I'm trying to do this anyway." When you can redirect intense emotions with ease, you will become a calm person regardless of the circumstances, and your emotions will not hinder your ability to think rationally and make intelligent decisions. Emotional control is essential to maintain a calm mind. Therefore, it is important to learn how to deal with anxiety, especially in challenging and tense moments. If you are having difficulty dealing with anxiety, I left a video in the first comment that can help you master these emotions, following the example of the Stoics. Take a look. Sixth lesson: enhance your perception. Marcus Aurelius said, "Choose not to feel harmed and you will not be harmed. Don't feel harmed and you will not be harmed." Stoicism teaches us to control how we perceive things, that is, the way we see the world. Normally, we put labels on everything we encounter, every event we experience, every person we meet, using words like good, bad, boring, fun, beautiful, or ugly. But this way of thinking can be exhausting and can make our lives worse without us even realizing it. This happens because our ego influences our mind, making us think we are better than others and diminishing other people in our thoughts. For example, if we call every difficult moment horrible, we will end up seeing the whole day as terrible, even if it had good parts. If we say that a party was boring, we will only remember the boring part, ignoring the other cool things that happened. We often let our emotions influence our first impressions of things, which often makes them less logical. In fact, they are often very irrational. Furthermore, our tendency to judge every moment of life is linked to exaggerating things, making them more negative than they really are. For example, if your partner ends the relationship, you may say that he broke your heart, rather than understanding that his feelings for you have changed. This way of thinking directly affects how you feel. It's not the event itself that makes you feel bad, but the way you unconsciously choose to interpret it. So it's not just the event and your reaction to it, but an event, your interpretation or judgment about it, and only then a reaction to that interpretation. The Stoics, on the other hand, suggest that people should be careful in judging everything they encounter and the situations they face. One way to be cautious is to reconsider your judgments, which basically means looking at them from a broader perspective, forgetting the first thought and evaluating something in a more optimistic, fair and logical way. How about giving a new perspective to that party that initially seemed boring? Imagine it as an event full of opportunities to explore a different place and meet new people. Even if you haven't found an immediate connection with anyone, instead of seeing it as a frustration, see it as a chance to try something new. Training yourself to not immediately judge based on first impressions and emotions is an important first step to improving your outlook on life. Whenever you form an opinion about something, ask yourself, does this make sense? What is the basis for my opinion? Is there a more positive way to look at this? It's as if we are adjusting our mental lenses, looking for new angles and perspectives that allow us to better appreciate the complexity and richness of life around us. This way, each experience, no matter how simple it may seem, becomes an opportunity for growth and learning. It's as if we are transforming challenges into springboards for personal development, cultivating an open and receptive mindset that allows us to get the most out of each situation. So, instead of letting ourselves be limited by our first impressions, we learn to embrace life's diversity and uncertainty with curiosity and gratitude. Marcus Aurelius highlighted the importance of perspective in the way we deal with challenges. He said that problems are not intrinsically difficult, but our interpretation of them greatly influences our experience. In other words, how we judge and view challenges affects how we feel about them. The famous phrase, "the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts," reflects this idea, showing how our thoughts influence our emotions. Within Stoic philosophy, the idea of seeing each problem as a chance or source of learning is emphasized. This means that when facing difficulties, there is a way to turn these challenging moments into opportunities for personal growth. This concept is present in the Stoic exercise known as turning the obstacle upside down. This method encourages us to reconsider our perceptions about challenges, seeking to understand them not just as barriers, but as chances to develop resilience and wisdom. Thus, Stoic philosophy offers us an active and positive approach to dealing with life's difficulties. Turning challenges into opportunities, imagine that you have a lush garden, a special space that you care for with love and dedication. One day, you discover that your garden is infested with larvae and parasites. The frustration is understandable, as these invaders threaten the beauty and health of your plants. However, instead of becoming discouraged, you see an opportunity for growth. Tackling this challenge allows you to practice patience, deepen your gardening knowledge, and develop techniques to strengthen your plants. Over time, you learn to keep larvae and parasites at bay, resulting in an even more vibrant and healthy garden. Every problem that arises is a chance for you to improve and prepare better for the future, transforming obstacles into stepping stones to success. Obstructions as opportunities. The perspective of Marcus Aurelius. When Marcus Aurelius reminds us that what opposes action drives action. What blocks the path becomes the path. He is inviting us to see obstacles in a new way. Instead of seeing them as insurmountable barriers, he suggests we can treat them as opportunities to grow and learn. The idea is that when facing a challenge, instead of reacting impulsively, we should stop and reflect on how we can deal with the situation in a constructive way. Each obstacle becomes a part of our path, offering lessons and new perspectives that help us move forward with more wisdom and resilience. Calm in adversity. Seeing beyond frustration. When we are faced with difficulties, it is easy to let excessive judgment rule us. Instead of getting lost in frustration, it's helpful to take a step back and observe the situation clearly. During this moment of pause, we may discover that life is actually simpler than it seems. By looking at the challenge with a more objective perspective, we find solutions and opportunities that were not evident before. Instead of being consumed by anxiety, a more balanced approach reveals ways to overcome challenges calmly and effectively, asking, why? To grow, when faced with challenging situations, a valuable technique is to stop, take a deep breath, and ask, why did this happen? This simple question helps us better understand what is happening and opens up space for reflection. By exploring the causes of a challenge, we can develop strategies to deal with similar problems in the future. Instead of just reacting impulsively, using reflection to understand the situation allows us to learn from experiences and grow in a wiser and more prepared way. Adjusting point of view. A new perspective. Imagine that each challenge is like adjusting the angle of a lens. By looking at the situation from a new point of view, we can discover new perspectives and solutions that were previously out of reach. Instead of wallowing in negativity, we use these moments as opportunities to strengthen and develop our character. Instead of reacting impulsively, we choose to respond calmly and rationally, taking each obstacle as a stepping stone on our journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Choosing the positive perspective. Every situation we face can be seen in a positive or negative light, and choosing our perspective is critical. By changing our mindset, we can realize that challenges don't affect us as much as we think. We develop a more balanced and serene outlook, navigating the complexities of life with greater resilience and calm. Marcus Aurelius's philosophy guides us not only to face adversity, but also to find a new way of looking at challenges, transforming the way we experience and overcome daily difficulties. Seventh lesson, take a broader perspective. When we dedicate ourselves to the creative process, we are focusing on what we can control in the moment. It's like adjusting a camera lens to clearly see the pieces of the puzzle that we can move and shape. This means letting go of worries about what we can't control and focusing on doing the best we can in what we're creating. It's like tending a garden, taking care of the seeds we plant with dedication and patience, allowing them to grow in their own time. It is important to recognize that even with all our efforts, there may be times when we do not achieve all of our goals. Accepting this from the beginning is a way to strengthen our resilience. It's like building a solid foundation, preparing yourself to face challenges with balance and calm. By dedicating ourselves to the creation process, studies, and constant effort, we are building a path to success. It's like building a solid road where each carefully placed stone brings us closer to our goals. Finding satisfaction in the process of growth, rather than relying solely on end results, is essential to our artistic development and a lasting sense of personal fulfillment. While your current job offers security and the chance for more responsibility with a promotion, the idea of earning a higher salary may seem very appealing. Maybe you are feeling confused or stuck in this dilemma. However, there are several opportunities you may be overlooking. Have you ever thought about exploring a completely different type of work, or starting a side project that fits in with your current job? Or perhaps pursue a passion to distract yourself from tasks that aren't as interesting? You may be missing out on many opportunities in life without realizing it. Looking at the situation more broadly, rather than just focusing on immediate concerns, can be very helpful when making decisions. Seeing things more broadly not only helps you decide what's most important, but also helps you form opinions and think more fully. It is important to consider all possibilities in a situation. Additionally, taking a step back means moving away from preconceived ideas and personal views, which helps you not let past experiences and emotions control your vision. Letting go of your beliefs and desires for a while can give you a new perspective, helping you think about the people around you and the responsibilities you have to them. Sometimes simple actions like throwing trash on the floor can seem unimportant and have no impact on the world. However, when we take a step back and look at the bigger picture, we realize that if everyone acts the same way, it can make a big impact. Even if you see yourself as the hero of your story, there are many other people who are heroes of their own stories and face similar situations. The Stoics believed that everything in the world is connected and that the planet's well-being is linked to our own well-being. Therefore, it is essential to take a step back and think not only about our individual lives, but also about the impact of our choices on the world when we face challenges or make decisions. Thinking about what we do and choose is something important, that we can do at any time, whether during the day, on a peaceful walk, or even when writing in a diary, something that Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, liked to do. This reflection can help us better understand different aspects of life. Some questions we might ask ourselves include, what will be the long-term consequences of my choices or actions? How can other people see this differently than I do? Could anyone in a similar situation or with similar goals to me give me useful advice? Do my decisions affect not only me, but also the people around me? Are there other options I haven't considered yet? Taking time to think about these aspects of the world helps us better understand our actions, thoughts, and decisions. This gives us a more complete view of reality, helping to overcome limitations, prejudices, or unnecessary doubts. Therefore, by practicing this, we are improving our ability to make informed decisions and better understand the world around us. 8th lesson: debt big problems into small problems. Marcus Aurelius used to say, "Don't let the future bother you. When the time comes, you will face what you need with the same reason you use today to deal with the present." When we face big challenges, it is important to keep a calm mind in the face of life's changes. By following the Stoic advice of divide and conquer, we not only divide the challenge into smaller, more manageable parts, but we also accept what we cannot change. Breaking the problem down into smaller parts helps us feel calmer. Each smaller part gives us a chance to use our wisdom to better understand the situation. As Epictetus said, it is not the things themselves that disturb us, but the way we think about them. By seeing the challenge in this way, we are able to understand it better and feel calmer to face it. Thinking before acting, a common practice in Stoicism, combines with the idea of analyzing the parts of the problem. In this process, our mind becomes an impartial observer, noticing what we can and cannot control. So, instead of being anxious about complexity, we see each part as a chance to grow personally and develop Stoic virtues, such as courage in the face of difficulties. With this Stoic mindset, solving a problem becomes an opportunity for transformation. Each challenge overcome is not only an external victory, but also an internal strengthening, helping to build the virtue of wisdom. Thus, when facing life's difficulties, we can use Stoic philosophy to transform problems into opportunities, building not only practical solutions, but also an inner strength that weathers external storms. When we encounter challenges, it is helpful to take time to reflect. Ask yourself if the problem is really as big as it seems, and if there are ways to make it easier by breaking it down into smaller parts. This reflection can help reduce the emotional burden and allow for a clearer and more objective analysis. If the problem is too complicated to understand, writing about it can be a good strategy. Putting our thoughts on paper helps us organize our ideas and analyze the problem more logically. Sometimes explaining the situation in detail can show new ways to approach the problem and better understand how it affects us. Simplicity as light in the dark. Imagine simplicity as a bright lantern that lights the way when everything around us is dark and confusing. When we can express our thoughts simply and clearly, it is as if we are opening a window in the fog of the mind. The light of understanding enters without barriers, illuminating our ideas and clarifying our thinking. Just as a flashlight reveals the path hidden in the darkness, simplicity brings to light the clarity that helps us navigate the complexities of life. Transforming the complex into clear, think of simplicity as a magical tool that transforms the complicated into something accessible and understandable. When we simplify our communication and analysis, we are actually unraveling a confusing puzzle. We remove unnecessary parts, those that only blur the vision, to reveal the complete and clear image. It's as if we are cleaning up a blurry canvas to see the painting in all its beauty and detail. By doing this, we make it easier to identify solutions and see problems directly and objectively, making them more manageable and understandable. The mastery of simplicity. In life, when we accept simplicity, our mind becomes an orderly and clear space. Imagine a well-kept garden where each plant has its place and space to grow. Likewise, simplicity organizes our ideas and thoughts, allowing them to flow freely and reveal solutions naturally. Simplicity not only makes problem-solving easier, but also brings a sense of inner peace. We feel more prepared and confident to face challenges, knowing that our mind is clear and focused. With simplicity as an ally, we face obstacles with a clear vision and the certainty that we can find our way through any difficulty with clarity and determination. To maintain this mental clarity and live in total harmony with the world, you just need to know how to turn your back on life when it hurts you. Hurts. Click on the video on your screen to see how to stay calm with these lessons from the Stoics.